Hey, everybody, and welcome to another week of Off Topic. I am Khadeem, and this is.
Hey guys, it's Doug. Uh, Hopefully, you guys have all had a good week. We are back again, and this week, Kadeem is leading the charge. So, everybody, uh, pay attention. Give our guy some love.
Eyes and ears, eyes and ears. So, this week I came across a big topic. Apparently, this was announced last year. I did not see it. They are making a fourth and final installment of the Planet of the Apes series, the most recent one with Andy Serkis, with Caesar as the main character. I absolutely loved this series of movies. Doug, what did you think?
It's more or less probably the best trilogy of the last 20 years in terms of quality. I believe all three movies have like an 83 or higher on Rotten Tomatoes. It's just fantastic. Kadeem, do you remember when we talked like a week or two ago about good villains and good heroes?
Yes.
Um, we should have mentioned Caesar as one of the all-time great heroes. Um,
Outstanding.
these movies were literally built on a great hero.
Hmm.
We should have mentioned that. We missed dropped the ball on that. But yeah, I love this trilogy. So yeah, go ahead, lead us into
So,
the new movie.
So, for those of you who are just getting caught up like I am, this movie picks up long after the events of the third one. So Caesar's dead; he's been dead for a while.
Mhm.
This is further down the line, even more advanced apes. And from what I can read of the little plot synopsis they're putting out, it sounds like now they're the ones who are in control. Um, uh,
Isn't his son Cornelius now the leader?
he was at the end of three. It sounds like this is even further down the line.
Okay, because I when I was doing some extra research, and the name of this movie is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Correct.
When I was doing my research, um, I thought it like Cornelius is going to be. It seemed like he was the main character, but is now he more in like a Caesar type role where he's going to have his own family?
I I guess it's possible. From what I saw, they made it sound like Caesar is so. They made it sound like Caesar's kind of long ago. Like this is now the apes' world.
I guess I get why you said that, like that
Mhm.
vibe, because like in the synopsis I was reading, they're talking about like Caesar's ideology
Yeah.
and like so what I saw was there's different ape clans within the Oasis and
Hmm.
there's so but I thought maybe Cornelius was still head of the Oasis, I guess.
So, when the first one came out and his name was Caesar, I instantly got excited because I'm sure you saw the Mark Wahlberg Planet of the Apes.
Classic bad
And
movie.
I don't know if you remember, but like basically Ape Jesus in that one, the one they all looked to, was named Semos.
Hmm.
And what I'm wondering is if we'll get to a point where it's been so long since Caesar's life, but he's still such a big deal that his name eventually, like as it's passed down, his name gets distorted. And the legend of Semos is based on Caesar. Because remember, they called him the first ape.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I really think that's where we're headed. I hope that's where we're headed in this because I love that movie. What do you think of that theory?
I'm into that. I So here's the thing. The only pro like I guess I'm worried about where this is going to go
Hmm.
in terms of a connection. The thing is, like, we cared about Caesar right away.
Yeah.
We saw the tint in his eyes and we fell in love with the character. Like, we knew he was different. We knew he was important. Are they gonna? Are they gonna? Are they gonna focus on one of the apes like that we're gonna really care about, or is it gonna be broken down into the clans like it kind of mentioned? I'm just hoping that there's a tangible character that we can latch onto that can take us into the next story of the apes. Um, that's why I was wondering, is Cornelius going to be that person, because um, we just, without humans, and they're regressing into like a feral state. I hope that there's no need to really focus on humans anymore, so we don't have to rely on a character from them. I'm just hoping we have an ape that we can really get behind and support like we did with Caesar because he was so important.
I think you kind of have to in this, because and it may sound stupid, but I don't think you can have a main character by majority type of movie because you're not gonna give the same level of love because they're apes and they don't look like people, so it's hard to pick out a certain favorite. You have to have one that, like you said from the beginning, you focus on. I'm almost wondering if they're doing a clan things like could we get like an ape civil war or something like that. You always see the perspective of the world through one person's eyes in particular with Planet of the Apes.
And I don't know if this has changed or anything, but the synopsis I read was that there is a clan of apes that is trying to go against Caesar's teachings and ideology, and he's imprisoning other apes. So that could lead into the Civil War, like you said.
I love it. I love this series, man.
Okay, but like that ape needs to be really like a badass. Like we need what was the bad ape in Mark Wahlberg's one? No, in Mark Wahlberg's one.
Oh, in Mark Wahlberg.
The one who figures out how to use the gun.
Oh, he was the general. I forget his name.
I can't think of him. I know you like that movie. It's not great, but he is a very believable bad guy. He does a really good job of being evil.
Yeah, but like, remember how good Koba was in this series? Like, he was a bad guy and he turned on Caesar and all that, but he was very believable from the beginning. We could see what he was about. Yeah, I do agree though that we need a really strong. I can't wait to see who's casted for this as well.
I'll tell you right now, the cast is not great. I looked it up today. It's a lot of young people. It's a lot of William H. Macy's in it.
Okay.
And Kevin Durand, do you know who he is? He is the bad guy in Walking Tall, the casino one. He's not the main guy. He fights The Rock in the casino. I'm trying to think of a movie that you've seen.
Is his name really Kevin Durant?
Durand with a D.
Oh, I thought you said Kevin Durant. I'm like,
no, Durand.
He's a really, really big white guy.
Yeah, he's a good sized dude.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, he fights The Rock in the casino, in Walking Tall.
So are these the mocap actors or are these the humans, or we don't know yet?
I'm not sure. I'm just giving you. I know the guy who plays Cornelius is. I know him from Bloodline and a couple other like shows. He's not a big name actor either. I don't know. How do you feel? I mean, it seems like you're excited. I'm a little more hesitant than you are because I felt like we ended in a really good spot with the final movie in the Apes series. I'm not sure because here's the thing. I've known this is coming for a while, but if you're only finding out about it now, are other people not as into this as I would think they would be?
So I haven't heard any trailer, and I might have just missed it. I haven't seen a trailer or any news on it until a couple of days ago. Okay. I guess the thing for me is with motion capture, it really just depends on how good you can do. And I think you have a lot of actors who can thrive in motion capture that really might not elsewhere. As we know, Circus is like the greatest of all time. Yeah. I'm actually putting Zoe Saldana in my GOAT tier. What she did in Avatar was godly.
She only does $1 billion movies at this point.
So I think you get a lot of actors who can come into a mocap situation and destroy it. So I'm pretty open. And as far as the storyline, I mean, like, you're right, we did leave number 3 in a really good place. But at the same time, because we know where it ends up, I think there's a lot that you can naturally explore without really having to reach. I don't feel like this is a money grab, I guess.
Okay. I hope you're right. I just have some trepidations about the, where we're going. It's just really hard to recreate magic when you have 3 movies that are so good. But yeah, no, definitely into it. Want to figure out more. I would like to learn more too.
Hopefully Circus comes back in this one. Not as Caesar, just give me more Andy Serkis.
No, isn't that why this became big news? Is because he said he watched it and said it was amazing?
Is that it?
Yeah, I guess he watched like a cut of it and he said it was really well done, really beautiful
Ah, I trust it.
in terms of the motion captures and things like that.
I trust it then. I'm
Okay,
good.
well, the circus stamp is pretty important in the motion capture business. Uh,
So we're talking about one of our favorite series, one of our favorite trilogies, and Planet of the Apes.
yes.
What I wanted to discuss with you is what are some other series or trilogies that are really that have come out recently? You know, we're not talking about like The Godfather or something, but
Okay.
where you feel it was a great series, great trilogy, every movie delivered.
Um, I think I think you kind of need to start in terms of the past 25 years, give or so.
Hmm.
I don't want to go back really past like 98. Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
before The Hobbit. It's going to be hard to find another movie in the past 25 years in a trilogy that won Best Picture like Return of the King did. It's going
Hmm.
to be really hard to find a movie with such quality battle scenes as the Battle of Helm's Deep. Um, it's going to be really hard to recreate such an excellent cast of characters. And it's just, it's like the perfect storm of fantasy. Um, it feels grounded when it needs to feel grounded. It has magic at the same time. It has Gandalf. It has um, the White Wizard. It does everything over three movies that you could ever want and more.
Hmm.
And we get Aragon becoming the king, and it's just I don't know. It just everything comes together in such a perfect way for that trilogy. Um, they could have never made the Hobbit movies, and I think nobody would ever said a word because they're just that good. And
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, the Hobbits are fun, but they're just
Yeah.
not. They don't reach the level of the Lord of the Rings, the first three.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to have Lord of the Rings on my three. Um, just such a fantastic trilogy.
So for me, when I look for like a really good series, I look for can each movie stand on its own without me knowing like there has to be a sequel for this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the ones that came to my mind were Creed.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought I love the Creed trilogy. I don't think any of the movies is below an 8.5. Like I think the Creed trilogy is great, and The Conjuring. I thought The Conjuring's a really good trilogy. The third one was probably the weakest of the three,
Yeah.
and still I thought it was pretty good. All three movies hold up very, very well. What do you look for in a good trilogy or a good series?
So, like you said, what's important to me is the foundation. You have to have. We'll round back to Caesar in Planet of the Apes. Caesar's your foundation. You
Mhm.
have a fantastic foundation. You have a character you're going to root for. You have a character you want to succeed. You have somebody who you are going to stick with no matter what happens. So um, here's the Nolan Batman series is a good example of a series that has a great foundation. It's a simple foundation because Batman's been around for however long now, 70, 80 years
Mhm.
now, but the foundation is Batman. You can build in different ways with Batman, and the villains in the Nolan Batman series, it's not like like they're not world beaters. They're not people that can like end the world in a flash. They're
Mhm.
smart, they're tactical. They're tangible. You can reach out and you can touch them. I just think that series is pretty well grounded. You're not doing too much, you're not doing too little. And within that series, you do get an all-time villain like the Joker. And
Mhm.
that really propels so the second movie has stood the test of time because it has an all-time villain, somebody that you can't recreate. So I look for that. Like, yes, is Christian Bale the best Batman? No, but in those three movies, he is such a good Bruce Wayne,
Mhm.
and he's just believable enough in Batman that you can still get behind him. And the people he's fighting aren't above him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you could say that movie number two is carried by the Joker. That that performance would have carried any movie. So I
Yeah.
think it's very difficult to, over critique those movies because they're just quality films, no matter how you look at it. So I think Nolan's Batmans are a good foundation, have a great foundation, and they just build off of that.
And one thing you just talked about is building off of the movie that came before it. And this is one reason, like Doug knows this. I think Star Wars episode 1, 2, and 3 are the best part of Star Wars. But I absolutely did not like 7, 8, and 9. I thought 7 was really good. 8 changed things up a lot, but I could kind of rock with it. And 9 flipped everything back. None of those movies felt coherent. Flipping back and forth on Rey's lineage, flipping back and forth on Kylo. And I really think that's the harm that comes with having a different director for each movie.
Yeah.
I think that consistency shows up.
And that's another great point right there. Foundation, like that's behind the camera foundation.
Mm-hmm.
You have Christopher Nolan, you have him for 3 movies. You're going to get that same direction every time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes, like you just said, it makes projects a lot more difficult when you don't have somebody signed on long term. Because you're just your vision's going to get skewed a little bit each movie. What's another trilogy that you had that you're really a big fan of?
So I added John Wick.
Very topical at this time.
Yeah, I added Wick. I think all the Wick movies are a good example. I think where the first one stands really good on its own. After the second one, you knew there would be more each time because they're still coming for him. But they could end there and you still feel good about the film,
You know what's good about John Wick and the idea that you could keep going is because the table is so hard to reach.
Yes.
Like they've created a concept in the table that everybody knows, we've turned off the idea of realism with John Wick, which is fantastic. No man can kill 200 people a movie and just keep going. But we've allowed ourselves to take the break from reality. But he still kills all these people, and there's still a high table that he can't yet reach. And that's something that we could use for more movies if they ended up wanting to. I think they've created a great villain concept with the high table. It's just the idea of like how far do you want to take one guy in that one. Another series a little more lighthearted than some of these is Pirates of the Caribbean 1 through 3.
Okay.
The last one's terrible, but here's the thing: Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow is an iconic character. He's just, you want him to succeed. He's funny in the right spots. He makes the movie. He enhances a movie every time he's on the screen. And you also get good characters like Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley. You get Davy Jones. You get Blackbeard. You get all these good characters into a movie, and it still has that like Disney lightheartedness, but they're still fighting with swords and they're using cannons and they're pirates. They're swindling each other. It's 1 through 3. I think are very they're still a really good trilogy. I wish they kind of would have stopped there, but I do like Pirates of the Caribbean in terms of a trilogy.
It's like a trilogy that by no means were these movies like, gonna win anything, but I think these encapsulate like what we want in a trilogy, and they're all just solid enough movies that you enjoy them. Have you seen like the Fallen series, like Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen?
With Gerard Butler?
Yes.
Yeah, they're just kick-ass fun movies.
Kick-ass fun. All of them really do a good job of telling a story as they move forward. Same for Taken.
I mean, the best part about the Fallen series is they tell the same story every time, with a different position in the cabinet. Like somehow we're gonna get back to getting to the president. But here's the thing: it doesn't try to be an Oscar-winning movie, and that's another thing when I say grounded. Those movies aren't trying to be something they're not. Gerard Butler's not trying to win an Oscar. He's trying to kick ass and entertain you, and that's something that he's done really well for his entire career. He's made some shitty movies, but when you see Gerard Butler's in a movie, you're probably gonna, get it off of a streaming service and watch it because he's just, he's gonna deliver and you know he's going to punch somebody in the mouth.
Yep.
I am totally in with you on that. Taken, the first two Takens are actually pretty good.
Insanely good. They are insanely good.
I tell you what, Liam Neeson might be a racist bastard, but I find it hard pressed to find somebody who's better at using momentum in fight scenes than he is in Taken. You never see him overpower anybody. He lets people. The fight scenes in Taken are so perfect for his
old
age.
man fighting style.
You never see him overpower somebody. He's hitting you in weak spots. He's using your momentum against you. The fighting in Taken 2 is super good. I everything else aside, super good.
Liam Neeson did some shit in Taken that blew my mind. It's the first movie when he finds the people who said good luck on the phone. There's a part where he has the guy like locked up and shoots him, and they both fall to the ground, and he pretends he's dead. And then when somebody else walks in, he just goes and shoots from the ground. Blew my mind.
And yeah, obviously an old man killing 50 people is crazy, but the way they fight in Taken is like, go back and watch them. If you haven't watched them in a while, I understand you might not love just all the violence. Some people aren't into that, but like the fighting style, his fighting style is a style that you could see work in against younger people. Khadeem, you got any other ones? The only other one I had, and this is kind of a throwback, we talked about not going back to the Godfather days, but dude, Indiana Jones 1 through 3, they're just like, you get the over exaggerated like punch sounds, you get the charm of Harrison Ford going after relics and fighting the Nazis. They just work. Like they got good action. They've got a star in Harrison Ford you want to do well. You've got bad guys like the Nazis. They're really, really quality movies from that time period. So I did want to touch on Indiana Jones. He's been a great hero.
Okay, so if we're talking just trilogies that are close to our heart, I will be honest with you. I don't know how well the second and third movie stand the test of time, but until the day I die, I will be a fan of The Matrix.
I was gonna say that before we switched and went somewhere else. The first movie was so
revolutionary.
Excellent. It just changed. It changed everything. It was so just beyond what you could comprehend. Like I've watched it probably 30 times now, and every time I catch something different, and I still have my mind blown. Is it real? Is it not real? Are we in the Matrix? Are we not in the Matrix? It did such a good job of making you think. And that's separate from the most fantastic fighting you'll ever see, the most fantastic gunplay you'll ever see, the one of the greatest villains you'll ever see.
Foreshadow.
I was going to talk about The Matrix because I think number 1 did such a great job that number 2 and number 3 are a borderline letdown, because maybe not 2, but 3 was a letdown.
Yeah.
2 is a stretch saying it's a letdown, but it's kind of a letdown because number 1's that good.
So 2 was a movie that I didn't feel stood on its own very well.
Right.
2 was a good 2 I enjoyed because I enjoyed number 1. 3 was a movie that the first time I watched it, I didn't even understand it.
Yeah,
I didn't know how Neo really won. I didn't get why he, really became a martyr. It wasn't until probably about 6 years ago I watched the third one. I was like, oh, I kind of see what they were going for. Don't like it.
Yeah.
But they reward us with a 30-minute fight scene pretty much. So you kind of live with it.
Yeah, I mean, you watch number 3. You know what's really cool though? I will give credit is number 2 at the end where they fight with the machine, where the machines are coming in and they have the mecha suits, guns. I will say that is a badass scene. What's the guy's name? Black guy. He's Green Martian or Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. Why did you ask me names?
I'm sorry. You know who I'm talking about though. I just that's really fun. The fights are still badass, but the story is so convoluted and it's hard to follow after number one.
So we can leave this off. I just want to say, had it come out in theaters, the Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, Justice League trilogy would have been on my list because I love the Snyder Cut a lot. So that would have been on my list. That's one where I wish they stayed consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I think we touched on a lot of them. Do you count Captain America 3 because of the big team up in number 2?
Yeah, that's still a Captain America movie.
Civil War, I mean.
That's still a Captain America movie.
Okay. So Captain America, the trilogies, it's the best trilogy of the Marvel ones.
Yeah.
Number 1's the weakest, but
yeah.
Really, here's the thing. When you first meet Captain America, he's kind of bland. So I like, now that I look back on number 1, yeah, it's not fantastic, but it's Captain America. That like they did a lot of work to make Captain America a lot more interesting.
And who carries that movie?
Number 1?
No, the third one. Who carries the third one? Say it.
Oh, T'Challa. That's the best T'Challa you'll ever see.
All right. It is
Can you imagine if Bucky and Steve teamed up on T'Challa like they did Tony? There have been riots in the streets.
2 dead white guys.
No. They are hurting him.
No, yeah, that we used to talk about how that combo would beat Darkseid. Oh, yeah. That combo was vicious.
Yeah, dude. When they started throwing Tony's shield off him and catching it back and forth, people were pissed.
Okay, so it's our first show of the month, first show of this month, first show of April. So we're going to talk about what our new media is, what we've either just started, about to start. You know, what are you getting into this month?
Okay, so just recently, I'm watching the anime Made in Abyss.
Okay.
This has been recommended to me a couple times. Made in Abyss is about cave raiders is the word I'll use. There's a big, massive abyss in the middle of this large city, and they send cave raiders into it. But once you get to a certain spot, you can't you start to die, to start you're losing function of yourself. And their ranking system is they have different color whistles. So the best people that can go the furthest into the abyss are white whistles. They're the legends. And you just go down from there, in colors of whistles. So a robot child comes out of the abyss named Reg or Reg, however you want to say it. It's hard to decide when you're doing it, and he comes up with the girl who's her mother is the most legendary cave raider, and they begin a journey to try to make it through to the abyss. So I really enjoyed it. The art style is really, really good. I really enjoy that. I'm still very new into it, but definitely into that and looking to keep going forward. In terms of reading, I haven't started reading anything new. I caught up on One Piece, and I'm caught up on Hajime no Ippo, and I'm caught up on Record of Ragnarok that just concluded the Tesla versus Beelzebub fight. Holy shit, what a fight.
That was dope, wasn't it? That was dope, wasn't it?
When I was watching that, when Tesla sent his arm through the portal, I thought his arm just got cut off. I didn't expect it to come around to punch him on the other side. Record of Ragnarok, guys, if you are not reading it, it's actually really good. The fights are just really good. Mm-hmm. I get it if you don't like it because of Netflix, but it's worth reading. What do you read and what are you watching?
So reading, still working on Vagabond. Mm-hmm. I'm about 100 chapters in. This is really good. Yeah. This is really, really good. If you're looking for a story about with good fights, but also just about a man trying to change his nature, I recommend Vagabond. Super fucking good. Okay. Watching this week, I am starting Vikings. I've heard good things about it. It's a real show. It's not like anime or anything. It seems to be based off Ragnar Lothbrok, who's supposed to be a Viking legend, and probably his sons. So I will have updates on that next week. I plan to be at least mostly through the first season. But that's my new media of April is Vikings.
Yeah, and like I'm always like just watching. I always have like One Piece or like My Hero on. Those are just I just have those on. I'm watching One Piece with the kids still, and I turn on My Hero. Just easy to consume at this point. I really like. I'm just never gonna not like One Piece or My Hero. So I'm also watching those just for fun in between.
I'm behind on My Hero. I'm about 30 chapters behind.
Yeah, I haven't read it in a while. I wanted to get some binging back in.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, nothing crazy.
Okay. Anytime I have any say over anything, we're going to talk about bad guys.
Yeah.
So our draft for this week is our fictional villains draft.
Okay.
Who is the best bad guy ever? You can describe if this is a personal choice as for favorites or just on the greatness list. Um, you went first last week.
I was gonna say you might as well go first and just get it out of the way.
Yeah, everybody knows who I'm picking.
Yep.
I am going for my first pick in the villain draft. I am going with the greatest bad guy in fictional history. I got a little rant here. Darth Vader is the best bad guy in fiction. He carries an outstanding universe. Like Star Wars is an outstanding story, outstanding universe. Vader kind of carries. Not saying like obviously Obi-Wan's amazing. Luke's a great hero. Like he's almost Arthurian, but Vader, the moment we see him, is terrifying. His voice is super recognizable. His design is super badass. Vader is outstanding, has an excellent reason for being a bad guy. He's my number one.
Yeah, I mean, that's an easy number one. My number one pick is going to be Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter is, if you've seen Silence of the Lambs, if you've seen just, there's like chilling moments where he's just talking and you can feel the pressure from him. And to have him be a cannibal on top of that, and there's just something about like he's got a magnetism about him. The way he says "Good evening, Clarice," and just the way he speaks. If you remember the scene when he's in the jail, and like he gets the billy club and he's just knocking out the jailers, and you can see the blood on his face. He's an icon, just an iconic villain. So my number one is going to be Hannibal Lecter. Who is your second pick?
There's somebody left on this board that I thought you were taking number one. He's probably the only person who can contend with Vader for the greatest villain ever. But there's somebody else on this board that if I do not take, I will be kicking myself.
Go ahead.
Give me Agent Smith, number two.
Yeah, I figured you were going to take him second. That's an easy pick for you.
I love a villain that over and over again can be a problem. Agent Smith grew as Neo did in power. To me, he was the opposite of Neo. Like Neo was the one, while Smith turned himself into the many and stuff like that. I think Neo is outstanding. And hearing him say, Smith, and hearing him say Mr. Anderson is like
iconic.
Peak. Yeah, that's peak. Can't get better.
And you got to think, like, when The Matrix first comes out, everybody's so scared of the agents. And then Keanu in the subway stations, he's had enough. And he hits that pose. Boom!
And all the dust.
And Agent Smith, Mr. Anderson. And he finally breaks the agent's glasses, and you can see in the way The Matrix, it's just, it just gives me chills. But Agent Smith, obviously fantastic. My second round pick is going to be the Joker from Batman, the Nolan one. He's, Vader might be the best villain overall, but the best individual movie villain is the Joker.
That's fair.
Vader, of course, oversees a whole universe, but individually, the Joker is the best movie villain. Who do you have in your third round?
You're going to see a pattern with me, and that's villains who are repeatedly used and villains who can kind of be the crux of the entire universe. With that, I'm gonna go Voldemort.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, I'm going Voldemort 3 because I mean his name alone is
He who must not
something.
be named.
Yeah, something people won't say for 3 years. And when he came back, I thought it was gonna be something where it was a letdown. But that fight with Dumbledore, where he he breathes dragon fire and throws it at Dumbledore, is insane. Like Voldemort, the whole world's scared of him. He's my three.
This is tough. There's a lot of good villains left.
Hmm.
I'm gonna take the Terminator.
Oh, that is one.
Guys, I just got to come out and say it. I love the concept of the Terminator. I love sending somebody back from the future. I love the machine uprising, Skynet, the whole thing. Arnold Schwarzenegger coming back to kill the mom. I'm just drawing a blank at the moment, but like Sarah Connor. But the Terminator, indestructible man killing machine. I just love it.
Even the name is badass, like the Terminator.
T900, like the T900, like it's just cool. And then like there's different variations of the Terminator. The liquid Terminator, that was bullshit. We had no chance. So the Terminator is my number 3.
For 4, give me Magneto.
Really?
I really like Magneto as a villain. Over time, a lot of people have come to like kind of equate him with like Malcolm X or whatever. But even if you take that away, I think Magneto's power set's really cool. I think the fact that he is fighting for civil rights / supremacy is really cool, and I love the idea of him, the ideology difference between him and Charles.
I mean, Magneto is fantastic. We got really lucky with Magneto, with Michael Fassbender, and then why am I drawing a blank on his name? Sir
Ian McKellen.
We got really lucky with two great Magnetos in film. My number 4 is going to be. Have you seen No Country for Old Men?
I've not.
Oh man, Anton Chigurh. He carries a cow press or a cow prod. It shoots the metal beam into the cow's head. He carries that around with him. He says nothing. It's the most intimidating person you'll ever see in a movie. He's just, oh man, if you've seen it, you could just feel like him. I've got him at 4. He is just, I love it. Who's your number 5?
I'm torn between 3 here, but I'm gonna show. I gotta do it. I gotta pick Michael Myers.
Yeah, that's a good
greatest slasher of all time, in my opinion. Like the father of the slasher movies, says absolutely nothing. And like, do you remember in the earlier movies when like Dr. Loomis used to say like, "Oh, Michael is just evil incarnate. Like, there's no way we can fix him."
Yeah. He talks about his eyes. They're just dead.
Yeah.
Michael Myers is fantastic pick. Okay, so I'm trying to decide, do I go with like a favorite, or do I go with a quality? For me, I'm gonna say Jaws. I love Jaws.
Okay.
The shark. I've talked about the Jaws on here before. Bruce the shark, just eating people. When he attacks the boat in Jaws 1 and he gets up on the boat and the boat's capsizing and the guy falls into his mouth, and the blood. Jaws just does it for me. The shark, just an iconic villain. I will say it was between Jaws, the Predator, or the Xenomorph.
Okay. So you went same direction kind of for your final 3.
Yeah, it was going to be a monster. Because
My
when you took Michael Myers, I changed it to it was going to be a monster.
okay. My last two, the ones I was deciding from were Michael Myers, Megatron, which same thing. I just love somebody who holds the whole villainy of a whole series on their back, and Frieza.
Oh,
Um,
Freeze would have been good.
Frieza to me wouldn't have made this list 4 or 5 years ago, but with him coming back as golden form and then a tournament of power, and then now he's Frieza Black or whatever. Like to me, it Frieza's the constant for Goku and Vegeta, more or less Vegeta. Like I think Goku really could care less about Frieza. He'll just fight him when he wants to.
Yeah.
Vegeta, I think, is intent on killing him when he can. So
I hope he
I
does.
Frieza.
I hope they include that with Vegeta actually killing him.
We know they won't.
No, they won't.
We know
Vegeta will lose to him in a stupid way, and it'll be fine.
then Goku will come save the day.
Fucking stupid. Yeah, no, I think that was a hell of a draft. I was surprised you picked Voldemort. Actually, I didn't view you as a fan.
I mean, to me, it's something like in the level of fear he has in universe, where it's so bad that people won't even say his name.
Yeah, it's a very cool concept.
Like in the last movie, like when McGonagall's running to school and everybody's gone, the one professor is like, "Are we really about to fight who must not be named?" And McGonagall's like, "You can say Voldemort. He's gonna kill us either way. Just say the name." The level of fear he has over that verse is incredible.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, no, I like that draft. I think we hit on a lot of really quality villains in that draft.
Tell us whose list you rocking with. Tell us if there's an obvious top 5 villain that we missed.
Yeah, let us know if we missed somebody. I would really like to know.
Can't believe Joker went in the second round. I probably should have took him, but had to get Agent Smith.
I'm telling you, a guy who walks around eating people's faces, cooking flesh. He's a first round pick.
So, you guys can probably imagine who picked this question. This what is. What is the biggest animal you believe you could beat in a fight? Let me ask something before you answer. Are we doing biggest just in size, or are we doing like most dangerous?
I think both can play a factor because, like
let's just say
in theory, an elephant could crush you, but an elephant could also not care that you're there. So, like, because of its size, it's dangerous, but it could also just have a disposition that it doesn't care you're there. So, I think we could say both.
Okay, but like for example, like a flamingo's bigger than a wolverine, but like a or a badger, but like a badger will fuck you up. Like a flamingo will not. So what we get?
So So here's the thing. I'm killing a flamingo. Like,
I would say, yeah, probably.
So a flamingo, I'm not really worried about, but I see what you're saying. So we will have to. We'll if there's an animal that has. Okay, so like.
Just lay it on us. So you got. What's the biggest?
So here's the thing. We're bigger than an eagle.
Yeah.
But an eagle could really damage us in a fight.
Yeah.
So there's an example of something that is smaller, but we could probably survive beating an eagle.
Okay.
Probably. We just really got to hurt. We got to hurt a wing bad.
So is that
okay? So here I'm gonna. This is the list of animals that people have a belief that they could beat. You tell me if you can beat it. Okay.
Okay, I'll tell you if I could beat this thing in unarmed combat.
72% of people believe they can beat a rat. Can you?
A rat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 69% of people believe they could beat a house cat. Could you?
Yeah. I would never do that, by the way.
61% of people believe they could beat a goose. Could you?
Yeah. How's that only 61?
I don't know. This is just the percentages. 49% of people believe they could beat a medium-sized dog.
Yeah.
What is medium-sized?
I'm guessing like a lab or pit bull, like that, like a lab.
Like under 100 pounds?
Or probably like, yeah, probably under 100.
Okay. Yeah, so that's fair. 30% of people think they could beat an eagle. I think if you damage the eagle's wing, you have a really good chance. But if it's just scratching the shit out of you, you're in trouble.
Am I able to pick stuff up off the ground? Or like, because here's like, if it's just these, I'm just wondering.
Any man, 2 hands.
Like, if it's just
No,
these,
it's just these. This is all you came into the battlefield with, just these.
here's the thing. I'm really weird about my eyes. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
an
you gotta know.
eagle
You gotta know
is
where your eyes
going straight to claw my eyes out. So it has a mental advantage. But yeah, I have no idea. Eagle's a weird one.
are. Okay. I do think we could beat an eagle.
I can pick
Large
it up.
dog. Large.
Large dog. E yes. Like I'm
Yeah.
assuming they don't mean like those dogs that are trained specifically to kill bulls and shit. So yes, I'd say a large like a mastiff in a death battle. Yeah, I'd say I'd win.
Okay. I think that's fair. Man, it jumps right up to. I'm gonna skip the. I'm not gonna jump right to there because we would lose to that. A wolf. Now, not a dire wolf, just a regular sized wolf,
So we're talking about the wolves that are like 70 pounds.
like a
Like
dog,
a normal gray wolf.
a
Yeah.
little bit bigger than a medium sized dog.
I
Or
think
muscular.
that's probably my upper limit. I think with highest difficulty, one normal sized wolf is. I can't imagine anything much more dangerous than this. I'm being.
And that's where I pretty much drew the line for myself. After wolf, it goes to, well, king cobra. I guess it kind of depends. Can you get a hold of it?
Yeah, that's too. That's. Do you want to ask that one again so you ain't got to cut it?
Yeah, I'll redo it. 1 sec.
Go ahead, take care of it.
Okay. Do you think you could beat a king cobra?
I'm sorry, I just want to ask it one more time.
Uh, do you think you could beat a king cobra?
That's so weird, dude.
It's a hard one. It's a really hard one because, like, in theory, you could, but it could also really mess you up. Like,
here's the thing. I don't think I have the react. Okay. Could I beat it? Yes. Am I going to die doing so? Yes. Because
okay,
I think if I grab it, I can slam it enough, but
Mhm.
I know I don't have the reaction time to avoid it biting me.
Okay, that's fair. I'm with you. I think I'm getting bit and I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Next after king cobra would be kangaroo.
Oh, hands. Hands. Yes.
Oh, you're beating a kangaroo.
Hands. Yes.
Oh,
Yes. As terms of total size, yeah, I've got a kangaroo.
okay. I don't think I could beat a kangaroo. I think they're a lot stronger than you give them credit for.
You can't use his hand.
We're losing to a chimpanzee. That doesn't matter.
Jesus, yes.
Yeah, they're ripping our arms off. It doesn't matter.
Anyway,
a crocodile. What do you think about a crocodile?
I can't hurt it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's how would you be able to hurt a crocodile?
Yeah, I can't hurt it. Even if I just jump on its back and start punching it, I can't hurt it.
Gorilla, no chance. Elephant, we have no way to really hurt it.
Yeah, we've capped out.
No. A lion. 8% of people think they could beat a lion.
8% of people are.
And then 6% of people think they could beat a grizzly bear.
No.
Yeah.
People with guns struggle to kill bears. Like, come on.
Okay, so here's a question for you before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
Which animal do you think would be harder to kill, a grizzly or 2 lions?
I mean, I'm gonna go 2 lions.
Yeah, it's probably
Yeah, I'm not beating 2 lions. That's
okay. No. Okay, I'll make it easier. You have to beat 2 lions, but it's one at a time, or a grizzly bear.
Oh, so wait, 1 second. Sorry, will you ask that again?
You're fine. That's what happens when you have premarital sex. You get interrupted. Back to my question. Could you beat 2 lions in a row or a grizzly bear? Which would be harder to do?
A lion gauntlet or a grizzly? I mean, the gauntlet's going to be tough.
Okay.
Here's the thing: this is it 0% or 0%? But I would rather fight one grizzly bear than two
Yeah.
lions. But
Yeah.
a mountain lion kills us, you know.
If it gets to your neck, it does.
Anywhere else, it does.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, I didn't know. I just wanted to touch on that because it's been a lot of people have been talking about fighting animals recently, and I'm just like, guys, there is a level to your badassness, and it's probably tapped out at large dog for most people.
Oh, I mean, we're cooked.
Yeah.
So we've got 3 questions for this week that have been submitted to us via Twitter. First one: what was your favorite arc in anime?
This is a tough one for me. It's between Marineford or the Dark Tournament and Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm going to be different, and I'm going to say the Dark Tournament. The Dark Tournament's my favorite tournament arc. It's my favorite like fighting arc. There's just different teams of like demons and high class demons fighting against Yusuke and his team. You get to see a lot of cool attacks. You get to see a lot of cool fights. Marineford's always going to be iconic. It's always going to be the best One Piece arc, probably. But I'm going to go with the Dark Tournament to be different. What about you?
So I have 2. It's Ennis Lobby / Water 7 and One Piece. That was real shonen right there. That was spectacular. That's what made me really in love with One Piece. And then the Pain arc in Naruto.
Oh, yeah.
Pain destroying the Leaf Village, Naruto showing up, and all that. That was outstanding.
Yeah, my favorite part of that was when Kakashi beat Pain. No, I'm just playing. Kakashi Hatake.
Second question: what's your favorite food and why?
Easy. It's pizza. It's always been pizza. I could eat pizza every single day. I'm already large, but I would eat pizza every day. It's just, I don't know. There's just something about pizza. It's simple. You can call, you can order it, and it's always going to show up. Pizza's just easy.
I mean, the thing with pizza is like even bad pizza, still pretty good. Like I'd still rather have bad pizza than good almost everything else.
Like it's decent when it's cold. It's crazy. Like you can just eat it. It's pizza's always going to be there for you. So remember that, fellas. When you're feeling down and out, pizza will still be there for you.
Take that from 2 people who really need to go to the gym.
And we're not going to, but we need to.
Mine is gonna be pasta. I love like lasagna, macaroni and cheese. Like those are my 2 favorites.
I get it.
Biggest risk you've ever taken?
Do you want to go first? Because mine's more of a story.
Please enlighten us.
Okay, so when I was a tad bit younger, it's been probably 7 years. My biggest risk was doing cocaine in the bathroom of the local strip club with strangers. It was a risk because obviously I didn't know strangers, and it was one of my first times doing. So that was a big risk, guys.
Wow. I should have went first because mine was pretty lame. There was a time, probably 8 years ago, I had just turned 21. We all went to the bar, sports bar, and one of our friends was driving home. He was sober, and I was very much not sober. So I rolled down the window and like sat on the windowsill with like my whole upper body outside the car, and thought that would be like the coolest drunk selfie ever. Was really cool. That's probably like when just saying that out loud, I feel so stupid for doing that.
I mean, I've done a lot of stupid things, as you can tell. I've probably done that more than once. Probably didn't take a picture of it, but it was probably stupid at the time. I've spent the night at the Red Roof Inn, so like, what can I really say? I've done a lot of stupid stuff.
That is fair.
Khadeem, how do you feel, man? You led the episode. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I've come to usurp your throne. This was only the beginning.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think every week you should be the leader.
This is off topic, starring Khadeem with Doug from here on in.
And folks, if you tune in next week and our name is Conversations with Khadeem, Totally understand.
Block us.
Let us know how you felt about Khadeem leading the episode today. He did a really great job. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our TikTok, our Twitter. Help us get to 200 subscribers so we can wear full superhero costumes. Help us. So this guy has to dress up.
All righty. Well, feeling good.
All right, guys. We will see you next time.
Have a good one.